Shalom, everyone. It's your girl Sophia, the American Mariam, and we gotta smoke this place out, man. This is a part 2 to the video that I made yesterday, and yes, I am using a singing bowl for my incense because some small child knocked it on the ground and it doesn't make the proper sound anymore. But I wanted to make a video as a part 2 or continuation or explanation of what exactly was going on, because I did receive quite a few comments and calls or whatever about the heck was happening. And so I'm not going to go into the whole long drawn out story, but I'm just going to start from Monday, right? So I watched a video from Shavi Zane where she requested people do a right burn and release followed by a white candle pertaining to the entertainment industry. And as many of y'all know, I'm not really a fan of right burner releases. And I don't really burn candles in my house anymore. But I felt compelled to participate. And so I did the right burner release. This is from Monday. So I would have just gotten home from out of town. So I did the right burner release before I went out to the gym after just getting back home. And then I went to the gym and I said, oh, there's a dollar store right beside the gym. I'll get a candle there. And I believe that I was really holding a space for this energy to come under judgment. And because right after I went to buy the candle, I went to my car and my car wouldn't start. And I didn't panic or anything. I just said, okay, well, I did just drive from Maryland. It's an old car that someone bought for me. And, it was acting kind of crazy on the drive up, which is why I said I'm not going to the whole long story. But it was acting kind of crazy on the drive up. And, it's just something to do with that. Well, I get home and I light my candle, and I write on the thing, and I use hot pink. I use hot pink. I'm really into hot pink right now. So I burn the candle. I start the candle when I get back. I still continue on with my thing. And then on Tuesday morning, I get a ride back over to my car, and I get it started, and then the car won't make it to the shop. I mean, I get it started, it gets about a mile, and then about a mile from the shop that I was trying to get to, it just cuts off. And so then the police come, and then I have to pay to get it towed. So I get it towed to the shop, and I'm like, okay, this is bad because I was trying to avoid having to pay this cost, but it is what it is. So I get it towed to the shop. And then on Monday night, I had a very strange dream, which I didn't really pay too much attention to. Let me open up this door. Look how much smoke is coming off this incense, and that might be an issue. There's a lot of smoke coming off that incense. So let me open up the door. So, Monday night I had a very weird dream, which now in retrospect, I probably should have paid a little bit more attention to. But in the dream, I did record the dream, but I didn't really think about it until today. So in a dream, I was at my grandmother's house, and two people who were in the bodies of my mother and one of my aunts were basically trying to shame me into some kind of behavior that I wasn't that kind of person. Like, trying to tell me I need to stop drinking, but I don't drink. Some people trying to tell me I need to stop being promiscuous, and I wasn't promiscuous, and there were some like, not real big celebrities, because I would never allow those type of individuals in my dreams, but some local celebrities to DC, and maybe some other, still not huge celebrities, but there was some celebrities, some males in my dream, and I was just having a conversation with them. But the part that I wasn't paying attention to, they tried to distract me with these males, is that these two spirits was in my dream, and it had occupied the bodies of my family members. And I recognized that, and my aunt, I had said, because we're at my grandmother's house, I was like, you don't even belong here. You're going to have to go. And I told her she had to leave. And my mom, and in my dream, I was much younger. And my mom, I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, who are you? Like, I don't even know who you are. You're going to have to go too. And I kind of just brushed that off, because I wasn't getting into that. In my dream, I wasn't going into that low vibration and taking on that Jezebel spirit they were trying to put on me in my dream. And so, and then I just went back, to what I was doing. I think I was painting or something, which I'm not really like a painter, when these two guys walked up, and then I just sat out chit-chatting with them or whatever, and doing my normal thing, how I interrogate men, make them very uncomfortable, by asking them questions they don't want to answer. So, especially at that time, that's what I would have done. And then I woke up, and I was like, well, that's a strange dream. And so yesterday was obviously a really, really bad day for me, but I still I didn't put all the pieces together. I couldn't figure out what was going on. But I know that I had been told in my spirit to say, on Monday, or while I was driving down, I had made a video, but you couldn't really hear it. So I was like, oh, I need to re-record this video. I need to get this into the ley line. And so that's the video I posted last night, but I added there on the end, like, no, I'm not going to be, experiencing this for any amount of time. This is not something that I have to experience. And I don't think that's what these entities were expecting, because in my dream state, putting me back into a position, when I was younger, when Pluto first came into Capricorn, 2008 to 2000. Pluto was in Capricorn in 2008. So like 2010, 2012, which was a really difficult time for me. By putting me back into that energy, I think they assumed that I was going to respond the way I would have responded at that time, which was to double down on negativity, in the sense of allowing people or entities or whatever to run all over me, and for me to stand back and act like I wasn't a powerful co-creator of my situation. And as you all saw in the video, that's not what I did. I said, no, I have to draw a line in the sand, and this is my line. And because I felt like if I allowed these whatever entities or whatever this experience was to control me, that I would always be controlled. And that's one reason why I got out of the industry in the capacity that I was in, is because, ooh, this thing is smoky. I'm sorry. Let me just whoosh, woosah, woosah. I got out of the industry in the capacity that I was in for this very reason, because this stuff that was going on, there was no way for, oh my gosh, it's so smoky in here. There was no way out. You just kind of had to deal with this whole thing. And, y'all, hold on, let me open up the window. Oh, man. Sorry, I didn't think it was going to be that smoky. I don't want this alarm to go off. Or maybe it's unplugged and it won't go off. I don't know. I don't want this alarm to go off. So, that's one of the reasons why I got out of the industry, is because of, you know, all the things that I saw and how uncomfortable it made me feel. But I couldn't really do anything to change it because I didn't have enough power and influence. And even the artists I was working with, I was trying to explain to them, you know, you guys don't have to accept, you know, this stuff. You can, you know, you could do better for yourself. And that just didn't happen. You know, so I ended up just getting out of the industry and going into another industry, which was just as bad. But so I just felt like I had to draw a line in the sand. I had to hold a space for the people who couldn't hold a space of saying, this is enough. This is the line that I draw. Or what normally happens, if anybody follows the industry or whatever, what normally happens is people who try to stand up to the industry and tell them, you know, we're not going to take this, we're not going to do this, they just take them out. And so I felt like I was holding a space for those people, you know, by saying, you know, if this, I was specifically talking about myself and my own situation, but I had forgotten about the right burner release. I forgot about the candle. So I didn't realize that these things were tied together. And so anyway, I have no idea how I slept last night. I don't think I've slept since I lit the candle. Not really like decent sleep until today. So I actually today when I woke up, I was just as bad. I was like, you know, I'm not going to stand for this. I'm not going to allow this kind of thing to happen. I'm not going to sell my soul for a house or food or a car, whatever. I'm just not going to do that. And so whatever entity is thinking that I'm willing to cut a deal to have some comfort in my life, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And, you know, a lot of people would view that as, you know, not the right thing to do. But I don't feel bad about my statements, except to say that I forgot about this candle that I was burning. So I came into, you know, but I still never stopped. You know, I've still been posting, finding stuff, you know, doing my thing, paying attention to what's going on, you know, looking for opportunities, doing my thinking and stuff like that. And so I came in to do my trade for the afternoon, which I had to do from my computer because I don't know what happened. I have a phone that I was doing my trading from, and I lost the phone. I don't know where it is. So I've been doing it from my computer. And so when I came in to do my afternoon trade, or the morning trade, well, the early trade, I sat behind my computer and I saw the candle because this candle is sitting right here with the rest of my stuff. Oh, I forgot to say one thing. Let me go back a little bit. So yesterday also, I was talking about Santa Muerte. If you're on the Discord server, I put some links in there. And I was saying, you know, talking about how still talking about how these entities, they don't want to work with them anymore. And so they might be coming to you. So I had done a petition to Santa Muerte. And now in my house right now, since I couldn't go to, before I went out of town, since I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, I put a lot of my personal items into storage. So a lot of my spiritual stuff, because I didn't want it to get messed up, you know, in case something happened while I was gone. So I don't have any of my spiritual stuff, including my pictures, Mary or anything like that. And so I'm like, my icons. So I'm like, dang man, I don't have any of my tarot spiral I had taken with me, but I didn't have my icons. And so my little, makeshift, icon corner is basically just nothing on it right now. And so after I recorded that video yesterday, I had to get a ride home because obviously I don't have a car, and I was out with my daughter, and we stopped at this little store that sells like discount. It's a discount store, which I never go to. Like, anyway, so we're going to the discount store. So we're walking around. My daughter needed this, particular kind of clothes for her performance on Saturday, and I am just wandering around, and I see these statues of Mother Mary, but the Mexican version one, so which is, I can't remember, but if you looked at any of the pictures of Santa Muerte, the pictures of Santa Muerte are literally Mary as a skeleton. So it's not Mary with her flesh on, it's Mary without her flesh. And so that's what Santa Muerte is. That's the imagery they use for her. It's literally Mary. It's just, I don't know what's wrong with people. They don't get it. So they had some little statues there of Mary on the Virgin of Guadalupe. So I got one, and I was like, well, I can't get to my icons right now, so I need somebody here, to help me. So this was after I had done the petition to Santa Muerte. I'll go to this store, and they have like big pictures of the Virgin of Guadalupe. They have like these statues. They have big ones. They have little ones. And I was like, wow, I can come here and get some more when I'm able to make a transition to another location. So I got one, and I brought it and I put it in the house. So this morning when I woke up, back to this morning, I was still feeling pretty bad. So I was like, well, I have to do something about this energy. I'm in a very low vibration, and so I need to bring myself up to a higher vibration. So I took out my rattle, and I rattled it around my head. And I had my incense, and I incensed, I drew some of the energy out with the incense, and then I had my, of course, my filter-free cigarette. So I had smoked a cigarette, and I was like, man, I need another one. So I smoked another, and I don't smoke, so it was like, I don't know, I had the inclination to smoke two. And so I had blown the smoke in the statue's face, right? I was like, well, Santa Muerte, she likes smoke. She's like non-judgmental, as opposed to how they, how they show Mother Mary as kind of more judgmental and whatever. So anyway, back to the trade. So I'm sitting at my desk, I'm trying to do the trade, and I realized that the candle is almost burnt out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this candle that this right burner release. I totally forgot about it. And I had totally forgotten about it, because I did it on Monday, and I think I was on the phone while I was doing the right burner release, because I try to do that so that like kind of like a surprise thing for the entities, so they don't know that we're coming. So I had totally forgotten about that. And so as soon as the light went out, that spirit came off. That energy was gone. So I don't know how to explain it any differently than that, but I just feel like I was holding the space for that spirit that had to be removed. And I don't know why it was me. I don't know if other people had the same experience. I am going to, share this with Shavi so she can know that I had this experience. So I don't know if other people had this experience, but I had this experience. And a lot of times when I do things for like to elevate the collective energy, I do have these experiences. So I have to remind myself that you know, what is coming so that I can be prepared. And also, I'm really glad that I used this dollar store candle as opposed to a regular 7-day candle, because this candle only burned for like 3 days. If I had a 7-day candle, I'd be still going through this for 7 whole days, which would be, you know, horrific. And this is another reason why for my spiritual candles, I don't burn them at home anymore, because I don't want to sit in that, even if it's positive energy, whatever has to be overcome to get to that positive energy, I don't want to sit in that energy for too long. And this reminds me of when I was at my other house, my friend had burnt had someone burn a protection candle for me. But that was at another location, so I was able to have some of that spirit taken off of me without having to actually endure it myself. So as we become more advanced spiritually and more connected with the different spirits and the Most High and all of that, these are things that we have to be careful of, which is why, you know, I'm not going to take my video down. I'm not going to, you know, censor or edit my experiences, because I feel like somebody's going to come along and say, oh, that's what happened. That's what's going on. This is what happened to me. Because nobody is talking about, a lot of people feel uncomfortable with sharing the negative things that happen to them online, and the things that they have to overcome. They always want to be seen in a positive light. And so anybody who looked at my video yesterday, you could see that I'm clearly not in the same vibration as I was yesterday. And that's because once this candle went out, the spirit was gone. So I actually, after the candle went out, I took a shower, and I did a salt rinse, and then I was able to eat, because I realized I haven't even been eating. Like, I didn't even, you know, I didn't even realize I had not been eating. So I was able to eat something, and I felt much better. You know, I still feel some of the, you know, effects of, you know, the situation. Like my eyes are still puffy, and, you know, my headache is, my head is going in and out. But I don't feel that negativity that I was been feeling for the especially yesterday, especially last night. I think that the spirit realm, these negative entities knew that if I held on until this candle went out, they would be completely conquered. And so I did pull my cards this morning, and that was also very interesting, because I pulled the Hangman in reverse. And the Hangman in reverse is one of those cards that says, you know, you're being selfish, you're being, you know, you need to gather more information and stuff like that. And I do know that people, you know, who experience this thing of, you know, removing themselves, deleting themselves from this planet, they are typically in a very, very negative vibration when they do so. And, you know, and that it is very selfish to do that. And so I'm very aware of that. And, so I pulled that card, and then a sister called me, or she sent me a message, and she said, I had a dream about your son, and I pulled these cards. And she pulled the same card, the Hangman in reverse, and also the Strength card, which you all know we're in the time period of strength. And so I was calling on my inner strength to give me the strength to say, no, we will not allow these spirits to continue to harass us on this plane. And no matter what, if the spirits have attach themselves to me, we all going out together, because I'm not going to allow anybody to do this. And you know, some of our spirit team is not activated until we have an experience like that. And so I'm not saying that people should, you know, just do this willy-nilly. I'm just explaining my experience, because my energy is the Hierophant energy. That's the energy I have to go towards, which is, you know, the spiritual religious leader. I have to go towards that energy. That's for me. And other people, that's not what other people have to do. They're in a very different energy. And so I don't want other people to be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna no, don't do what I do. I'm telling you what I did so that you don't do it. You know, this is not so. Just like they used to say on all the rap songs, you know, I'm telling you this is how I live so that you don't go out there and do it. Why would you want to live like this? So that is to say, be very careful about burning candles, you know, certain kinds of candles, especially if you're trying to remove a negative entity, because remember, our brother told us that when you remove one, if you have that space open, 7 more are going to come back. So you want to make sure that you're able to close that space. I think the candles do help in, you know, doing that, but you just have to be careful about that, because if I had known, I probably would have used a very small candle, or some other thing wrapped in a piece of paper. I'm going to look into some more options besides using these jar candles, because that was very that's a very traumatic experience for me, and I probably will just look for another option. But this is why I don't like right burner releases, because you never know if you're removing that thing that is attacked. Because remember, you know, some of the stuff is you doing it to yourself, right? But there's a great deal of stuff that is someone else doing it to you, and by way of black magic. And I do believe we have the capability of raising our vibrations. But when you're trying to remove something, it's a little bit of a different scenario, because you can't raise your vibration when you're trying to remove something. You have to remove it before your vibration could be raised. So I pretty much made myself a huge target. And then as soon as I did that, the Antichrist campaign began. And you know, because they tried to attach that Jezebel spirit to me, and that didn't work. And so then they came in with the mocking campaign. And so that research that I presented, you know, like a month, 2 months ago, about the Jezebel spirit and the Antichrist spirit working hand in hand, that is definitely how I perceive it to work, because that's what happened in this. They couldn't attach the Jezebel spirit to me. So then they turn around and try to attach the Antichrist spirit to me. And that didn't work either, because I said, well, the Antichrist spirit will do anything to stay in this realm. I won't do anything to stay in this realm. So that didn't work. And I can see why I chose the language, why my thought process was the way that it was. And probably why I couldn't remember my dream from last night, because I had a dream last night. I couldn't remember it. I woke up with a song. I can't remember right now, but some kind of rap song that was just stuck in my head, and I couldn't remember my dream. And I was like, dang, that's so crazy. So, you know, not discouraging anybody from doing right burner releases, just, you know, just understand that some of these higher level entities that we're, you know, trying to remove from us, they're not going to go out without a fight. And you have to, hopefully this will prepare people mentally to deal with the removal of these spirits, because now the Jezebel spirit and the Antichrist spirit cannot ever attach themselves to me again. And I'm hoping that this is the case for a lot of the brothers and the sisters out there, because that's the whole point of doing these right burner releases, is to hold that frequency for the collective. And so I feel like that's maybe why it was so difficult and so heavy on me, because I was holding a space. I mean, they do call me them. I mean, the spirits, the spirit realm did give me the title of Ameru Khan Mariam, which is, you know, the Hierophant of America. And so I guess I was holding the space for that, and it was a very, very heavy load to carry, because I don't really carry those kind of vibrations. I'm pretty good at staying in a high vibration. And so just for me to drop so far down in my vibration, it's not really something that I typically do, because, you know, I'm very optimistic about my life and my future, my family. And so for me to fall into such a low vibration, it definitely was something that was outside of me, that I was engaged in. And, you know, on one side, yes, there are things that are within us that we have to deal with. But on the other side, you know, once you've dealt with so many of these things, you do start to hold the space for others. And so that's what I feel like happened. I don't know a better way of explaining it, because it does seem a little bit wonky. But I do want to put it into the ley line so that these spirits can know that they have laws. They are hereby banned from projecting themselves onto, you know, our women, our men, our people on this planet. They have to go. And there's probably some really angry ancestors, angels, and guides haunting them down for what they did to me, because that was a very, very traumatic experience. That's very traumatic for me. And I know it's traumatic for other people to see in me, but people need to know that I take the safety of the collective, of the people, of my people very, very seriously. And just like in the fairy tales, especially like King Arthur, he went into battle with his knights. I'm not going to sit back on some kind of throne and let everyone else go through something that I'm not going to also go through myself. And so that's very obvious to me, to the entire spirit realm, to these negative entities that think they're going to keep doing this crap. They're not going to be allowed to do this anymore. And I hope that this is the end of this cycle for them permanently. I feel like it is, because when that candle went out, it was literally like whoosh. That's what it literally felt. I could feel that vibration coming off of me. I could feel it immediately. And I've never been a kind of person who could feel this kind of stuff, but I could feel it come off of me. And so this is, you know, to celebrate the fact that I did make it through this experience. And a lot of people, you know, they don't believe that these spiritual experiences are as intense as they are. And I hope that this also helps to convince some of these people that no, these experiences are just as real, as real life. And if you think that I'm unwilling to go to battle for the tribe, you know, at the expense of myself, I hope that you have learned a very valuable lesson that is not the case. I will be on the front lines. I'm not going to send anybody into battle and not go into battle myself, which is why I supported Shavi in the Right Burner release, because if she's going to battle, which is a very, very tough battle, you know, I'm going to go like a sister out there and hold the vibration so that you know, because my motto ever since, you know, I got into this kind of thing has been, you know, no unnecessary pain and suffering, and no unnecessary deaths. And if me being able to survive this experience prevents any further deaths of innocent people or any further pain and suffering of innocent people, I will consider it worthwhile, because people should not have to live their everyday life like like I've had to the last 3 days. It's been really a really traumatic experience for everyone who has spoken to me. A really, really traumatic experience. And you know, but I believe it is for the greater good. And if I can hold a space for things to be better for our people, then that is a space that I'm willing to hold. So and I want to circle back real quick to this whole concept of people coming into your dreams, because these people entered my dreams through vessels of people in my family, my close family members. And I find that to be like a huge major violation, just in general. But even in my dream state, I knew that those weren't the people. They were in their vessels, but those weren't the people. And I implore people that when you are out here dealing with people, that you test the spirit by the spirit. If the person does not seem to be the proper person in that vessel, you need to find a way to call them out. And for me, what I did in my dream was I said to my aunt, I said, who are you? And why are you in this vessel? You have no right to be here and you must go. And she was gone. And I said the same thing to the person occupying my mother's vessel. And so I don't know how they're able to do that, because the last time somebody came into my dream and tried to get me to do something or sign something or whatever, they got in really, really big trouble. So I don't know how they're able to do that, but I just put that out there as like as a thought process, as a warning. And even when you see people on the streets, if they appear to be vessels for entities, you have to tell them that they need to go. Do what you think is best. Let me say that. I don't think I would allow someone to stand in front of me in a vessel of a person that I'm familiar with and not banish the spirit out. I feel like that would be just wrong to let that person walk around in the spirit like that. So I personally would banish. I would be banishing that spirit, me myself. And because I do think we are going to have to rejoin society. A lot of people have been separated out of society, set apart, and and it's time to really build ourselves up. But I think it's time that we go back into society, go back into certain churches, go back into certain family situations, so that we can somebody has to call these spirits out. And if not, this situation is not going to end, and we are the only ones who can do it. And so I had been wondering why, I haven't been to church for 2 weeks, and I feel very uncomfortable with that. And so one of the things that I know for sure is that I am going to be returning back to the church and making sure that I participate. I feel like at certain times the Most High had removed me so that I could complete this mission. This is obviously another one of those situations where the mission was set up and I just kind of fell into it. I had to be removed so that I didn't bring this into I didn't bring this these unclean spirits into a clean vessel. And so I understand that, but in the future I will monitor those things closely, so that way when I know something like that is coming, I can document it more closely. Because I think another thing is people go through these spiritual battles and they don't document them, and it's very difficult for people who aren't going through these type of things when they get to this stage, if they get to this stage, to have somewhere that they can look and see, okay, this is what happened, this is how this thing might look for this person, so that you can mentally prepare yourself for this. Because I have been seeing this happen with one of the other readers, and so I kind of, was familiar with the fact that it would be a very difficult situation, difficult battle, but I haven't seen it from this perspective, this sort of from a female perspective. There we go. From a female, I see it when it happens to men. You see it when it happens to men. They can't hide anything. But women really try not to let these kind of things lead on. And in some ways, I think that is good. I think it's based on the individual person. But for me, I try to be as transparent as I can so people can learn without having to actually go through the whole thing. So, but the time is coming where we are going to have to, heal the sick, raise the dead, cast out demons. We're going to have to be the apostles out here. Who else is going to do it? Who else is going to do it? And so you have to be able to, you have to be willing to hold the space, high vibration or low vibration, to pull the spirit out. And maybe that's what our brother was saying in that scripture. He was saying, because remember, he said that the people who they were saying, the disciples were saying, we can't pull this spirit out, it's too strong for us. And he said, no, this spirit takes lots of fasting and praying. And I think that having gone through this experience, it seems like that's because these type of spirits are very, very, you have to get down on their level, and you have to hold the space. And then you have to have a way of removing them where once they're out, the door closes behind them. They have like the inflatable mattresses now where you can plug it in the hole and the air will go in, but when you unplug it, the air doesn't come out, like that kind of thing. Like, you hold the space for the negative spirit to come in, and then once it's in, you eliminate it. And then it can't get out, so that its buddies can't come in behind it. And that's why this whole thing is so weird, because they tried to get that Jezebel spirit on me and it didn't work. And then when that didn't work, they automatically went into the Antichrist spirit, which also didn't work. But because they couldn't put the Jezebel spirit on me, that didn't work. And then they just went on with their same program of sending the Antichrist, and that also didn't work. So because they have a regular program that they follow, it's always a Jezebel and then the Antichrist. They go hand in hand. And because they couldn't, the Jezebel spirit, I close it off at the end. So then obviously they didn't get the message that it didn't work, because I did not accept that into myself. And then when they tried to put the Antichrist spirit on me, I also rejected that and said, no, all y'all got to go down. Everybody's got to, we'll all go down with the ship. I'm not going to allow that. Sirens. I'm not going to allow that to happen. So, or flashing red lights. That's interesting. So I'm not going to allow that to happen. You're not going to take me out, or you're not going to just keep running around from person to person with this same whatever spirit. Because enough is enough. So, I hope that's a good explanation. I did want to get this on video because I feel like there's just not enough people really talking about what going through this kind of thing really feels like. And it is very traumatic for people to have to, deal with when they deal with me. But, we don't want any unnecessary death and no unnecessary pain and suffering of any innocence. And so Sometimes that means you put a big X on your back, and you have to, you know, take some things that feel uncomfortable. And this was very, very uncomfortable and very, very traumatic for me, but I do feel like I've come out on the other side of it, and we've been given a great victory as a result. And so I hope everyone is able to breathe a sigh of relief. Some of these people that are in the industry are given some peace, and we are able to move forward with the victory that the Most High has given us. So shalom, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.